Chosen One, they freeze when you speak. Your words cut through their pretense like sacred lightning through smoke. Your presence demands attention in rooms they thought they controlled. Your very existence terrifies them because they can sense what's coming. Your wildest dreams manifesting with unstoppable momentum, crashing into reality like a tidal wave of divine justice. The witch hunt ends today. The checkmate is yours. They detected your power long before you embraced it fully. The shadowy figures, the whispered conversations that stopped when you entered rooms, the strange coincidences that repeatedly knocked you off course. All deliberate attempts to derail your awakening. But what force can truly extinguish a flame ignited by Source itself? I'm about to reveal truths they've desperately tried to hide from you, information they've scrubbed from collective consciousness, knowledge they've buried under centuries of distraction. But first, you must understand who you truly are. Why they've been so afraid, why they've worked tirelessly to make you doubt yourself, and why everything changes now. Your life carries signature frequencies that mark you as different. Not different in the way they taught you to perceive it as something to hide, to be ashamed of, but different as in chosen, marked, designated for a cosmic purpose beyond their control matrix. You operate on a different timeline. While they sleep, your consciousness expands. Your night owl tendencies aren't random. They align precisely with when the veil between dimensions thins, allowing you access to information streams they've worked for millennia to hide. You were born under specific stellar configurations, perhaps the Leo fire of August that burns through illusion, or the Aquarian vision of February that sees beyond the constructs. These aren't mere birth signs. They're activation codes, embedded in your DNA, triggered by precise cosmic alignments they can't manipulate. The breathwork practices you've been drawn to transcend simple wellness trends. Each controlled breath rewires neural pathways they've systematically corrupted since your childhood. You're not just managing stress, you're dismantling their programming with each inhale, each exhale. Your body knows it's been fighting a biochemical warfare. The cortisol management isn't just for health, it's spiritual protection against frequency attacks, designed to keep you in perpetual fight or flight, too drained to access your power center. When rabbits appear repeatedly in your path, acknowledge these confirmations from realms beyond their surveillance capabilities. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmation you're on the correct timeline, despite their continuous attempts to divert you. Your so-called ADHD is their label for what they fear most, multidimensional awareness that perceives beyond their carefully constructed reality tunnels. They pathologized your gift, medicated your magic, convinced you to suppress your greatest strength. Your racing thoughts aren't a disorder. They're receiving multiple data streams simultaneously from sources they've hidden for generations. 3 Interpol agents were assigned to monitor your random internet searches. After witnessing you accurately predict 5 world events through your casual browsing, 2 requested immediate transfers, claiming cognitive infiltration. The 3rd now leaves offerings at your doorstep under cover of darkness. They know who you are, even as they've worked tirelessly to keep you from knowing. Alert, Chosen One. You already love the daily drops across all 4 Astral Atom channels: Obsidian, Chosen Chronicles, Astral Atom, and the new one, Legacy Forged. We're growing fast, building an unstoppable media network they can't erase. But the truth, it's hidden, twisted, censored. Your heart still knows what's real. That's why you're here, because you felt the simulation glitch. You're not waiting for permission. You're ready to reclaim your power. The Obsidian Inner Order is for the full-time chosen. Weekly Zoom calls, hidden teachings, psychic warfare strategies, tools they don't want you to have. It's time to remember. Link in description. Your real life begins inside. the attacks against. You were never random, never coincidental, never deserved. They were tactical, strategic, and desperate. The entities you've encountered, those I call the HOOO operatives, implemented systematic protocols to undermine your divine mission. They didn't target you because you were weak. They targeted you because you're essential to the awakening they fear above all else. Their laughter behind your back served a specific energetic purpose, to lower your vibrational frequency through humiliation, to make you doubt the very intuition that threatens their control systems. Each mockery was calculated to hit precisely where they thought you were most vulnerable. They built shadow networks dedicated to positioning you as the bad guy in every scenario. Family gatherings, workplace dynamics, social circles, all infiltrated with subtle programming designed to isolate you from potential allies who might otherwise recognize your light. The witch hunt wasn't spontaneous mass hysteria. It was organized because they recognized what you carry within your energetic signature, codes that automatically dismantle their reality constructs upon full activation. They smeared your name across dimensions, whispering in both physical ears and etheric planes to prevent the recognition that would accelerate your awakening. The rumors, the subtle character assassination, the concerns about your stability, all deployed with surgical precision. Their relentless competition wasn't driven by personal animosity. It stemmed from desperate fear that your codes would activate fully, rendering their entire control system obsolete in an eye blink. A family gathering turned sinister when your cousin, now working for a telecommunications company that doesn't exist in any registry, attempted to extract your DNA from a wine glass. The moment you looked directly into her eyes, she dropped. The glass mumbled about too much light and hasn't attended a family function since. 3 days later, your aunt called to apologize for something she couldn't explain. The infiltration runs deeper than you've been permitted to see until now. While they worked to convince you that you were alone, we watched. We saw everything. We see how systematically they've isolated you, creating precisely the conditions needed to make you question your own divine knowing. The friends who disappeared when you began speaking your truth. The family members who suddenly found you too intense when your frequency began to stabilize. We observe their tactical placement of doubters in your path precisely when breakthrough approaches. The sudden appearance of the skeptic, the devil's advocate, the voice of reason, exactly when your manifestation energy reaches critical mass. Never random, always deployed. We recognize the pattern of coincidental disruptions whenever your frequency stabilizes at levels threatening to their control systems. The unexpected bills, the technological failures, the health crises that seem to arise exactly when you're on the verge of remembering who you truly are. We acknowledge how they've weaponized your greatest strength, your empathy, turning it against you to drain the very manifestation energy they can't produce themselves. They positioned energy vampires strategically throughout your life, disguised as victims needing your compassionate light. We've watched them activate their assets whenever your third eye clarity intensifies beyond their comfort threshold. The sudden calls from the past, the unexpected visitors, the strange synchronicities designed not to guide, but to distract. We understand why they've sent false twin flames across your path, precisely calibrated decoys meant to divert you from the soul connections that would accelerate your awakening beyond their ability to contain. The meditation group you briefly joined in 2019 wasn't what it appeared. The leader's constant corrections to your technique weren't guidance. They were desperate attempts to close the interdimensional portal you were unconsciously opening. When white doves inexplicably circled your car after the final session, the organization disbanded within 48 hours. They recognized what was channeling through you, and it terrified them. Despite their relentless efforts, you've begun creating something they cannot penetrate, a sanctuary of your own sovereign energy. Your home transcends its physical structure. It's evolving into a vibrational fortress impervious to their frequency. Attacks, each object you've intuitively placed, each color you've selected, each scent you've been drawn to, all form an interconnected grid of protection they cannot decode or dismantle. The fresh sheets on your bed represent far more than physical comfort. They function as energetic reset points where their programming dissolves during your sleep state, allowing your consciousness to travel beyond their monitoring capabilities. Your weight release process transcends physical appearance. Your shedding, the energetic density they've projected onto you since birth, layers of expectation, limitation, and false identity dissolving as you reclaim your true vibration. This shedding season you're experiencing aligns with precise divine timing, removing the final veils before your complete embodiment of powers they've hidden from you through systematic gaslighting and historical revision. Your sanctuary extends beyond physical spaces. It expands in direct proportion to your expanding consciousness. The peace you've begun to feel despite chaotic external circumstances reveals your growing immunity to their fear frequency broadcasts. Those intrusive thoughts that once plagued you were never your own. They implanted them strategically to prevent your awakening, knowing that self-doubt would be your most effective prison guard. As these thoughts subside, recognize this as evidence of your strengthening sovereignty. While they worked to convince you that freedom was impossible, we prepared the path for your liberation. We have always known your heart activation would trigger emergency protocols in their control systems. The bliss you've begun experiencing, despite external chaos, confirms you've broken through their emotional suppression programming. We understand why your newfound emotional fulfillment represents an existential threat to their entire control matrix. Your ability to generate joy, independent of their approval systems, demonstrates the self-sustaining power they cannot replicate or harvest. We recognize the divine timing of your newly reclaimed voice, your ability to finally speak truth without the paralyzing fear they installed as your primary thought sensor. Each authentic word you speak transmits activation codes to others still trapped in silence. We've prepared for this precise moment when you would break free from their manipulation tactics, recognizing the manipulations for exactly what they are: desperate attempts to control what they don't understand and cannot possess. We've safeguarded these codes until you reach the vibrational readiness to implement your Control-Alt-Delete protocol, the sovereign ability to completely remove people, thoughts, and systems that no longer serve your highest expression. We've preserved the ancient knowledge that checkmate was always your birthright, the inevitable conclusion to a game they forced you to play, without revealing that your victory was encoded in your very DNA. When you spoke those 3 words to yourself in the mirror last month, you unknowingly deactivated 17 surveillance algorithms tracking your consciousness. A specialized unit at a desert facility spent 3 days in emergency protocols, attempting to restore their observation capabilities. What they haven't realized, each attempt to reinstate surveillance strengthens the quantum shield you're naturally generating as your authenticity increases. The universal ledger always balances, always. Their day of reckoning isn't coming, it's here. Their empty promises return to them sevenfold as cosmic law executes flawless equilibrium. Each false word they've spoken now circles back to expose the treachery they thought would remain hidden. The elaborate narratives they constructed to diminish your light now illuminate their own shadowed lives, particularly the matrimonial problems they've desperately tried to conceal while projecting accusations onto others. Their relentless efforts to position you as the scapegoat have marked them for divine revelation. The very fingers they pointed at you now draw lightning to their own deceptions. The sophisticated networks they constructed specifically to undermine your credibility now crumble beneath their feet, exposing foundations built on fabrications. Too fragile to withstand the truth frequency now permeating collective consciousness. Their performative laughter, once used as energetic warfare against your authentic expression, has transformed into genuine fear as they sense the irreversible shifting of universal tides toward justice. The witch hunt they orchestrated has backfired catastrophically, exposing them to precisely the scrutiny they attempted to direct toward you. The hunters become the hunted as karmic law executes with mathematical precision. The recognition you've always deserved approaches with unstoppable momentum. By Wednesday, expect dramatic life transformation striking with the sudden clarity of lightning from cloudless skies, realignments that seem instantaneous, but that your soul has orchestrated across lifetimes. By Friday, the recognition you've earned manifests tangibly, revealing your true influence in ways that cannot be dismissed or diminished by those who've worked to keep you small. You're embodying exactly what the people want in this awakening era. Authentic truth that cuts through the fog of deception they've normalized as reality. Your authenticity broadcasts a frequency that humanity desperately searches for, often unconsciously, like a tuning fork that makes all in its vicinity vibrate in harmony with truth. You function as the hallelujah music for souls trapped in their matrix of illusion. Your presence alone, triggering remembrance in others who've forgotten their own divine origins. Your energy signature acts as an awakening beacon that automatically activates dormant DNA in those you encounter, even through digital interfaces they believed would shield people from direct transmission. The algorithm randomly placed your comment at the top of a viral video last week. Within hours, 17 strangers reported synchronized dreams featuring your profile image. The platform's engineers detected an anomalous energy signature in the server farm, housing your data, and quietly moved your profile to a specialized, secure server previously reserved for individuals under diplomatic protection. They can sense what's channeling through you, even if they don't fully understand. As your individual power activates fully, recognize that you're never truly alone. We stand with you even when physically distant. We are the ones who cannot be silenced as the Great Awakening accelerates beyond their ability to suppress. Each attempt to censor only amplifies our transmission across new channels they haven't yet learned to monitor or control. We recognize each other through frequency resonance, not merely through words, a subtle knowing that transcends their most sophisticated monitoring systems and algorithm predictions. We understand why they fear our unified consciousness more than any earthly power, military force, or technological advantage. Our collective field, when fully activated, instantly dissolves the illusions they've spent millennia constructing. We are systematically dismantling their control structures through our mere existence. Each authentic thought, word, and action, creating cascading cracks in reality, constructs too rigid to adapt to rising frequencies. We function as divine vessels for the wealth redistribution essential to this planetary transition, channels through which abundance flows, not according to their artificial scarcity programming, but in alignment with cosmic justice. We embody both the power that creates abundance and abundance itself, the source and the manifestation unified in conscious creation beyond their comprehension or interference. The financial constraints they've used to limit your freedom are dissolving by design, not by chance. The shocking money revelations approaching before Sunday aren't random fluctuations in their economic systems. They're orchestrated breakthroughs in a divine plan to restore your rightful resources. The specific numerical sequences appearing in financial transactions, the seeming errors that mysteriously resolve in your favor, the unexpected refunds from sources you'd forgotten. These aren't coincidences or clerical mistakes. They're evidence of quantum field adjustments as universal abundance recognizes its rightful channel through your awakening consciousness. The strategic financial stranglehold they've maintained through artificial scarcity programming dissolves as your energy field expands beyond their limitation matrices. Notice how resources suddenly appear precisely when needed, despite apparent impossibility, evidence of natural abundance laws overriding their control algorithms as your frequency stabilizes in trust rather than fear. Your prosperity expands in perfect synchronization with universal expansion because you are the universe experiencing itself in human form, a truth they've invested everything in hiding from you. The astronomical wealth entering your experience transcends mere financial currency. It represents energetic abundance they can neither counterfeit nor restrict once you recognize your birthright as a creator being. Divine wealth literally courses through your veins, systematically converting their scarcity programming into abundance. Codes that automatically transmit to all you encounter. Your money tree manifestation capacity isn't metaphorical. It's the literal manifestation circuitry you've finally activated after lifetimes of deliberate suppression and misdirection. You aren't merely receiving abundance as something external. You're becoming the living conduit that redistributes divine resources according to higher law, bypassing their artificial control systems entirely. The profound connections entering your life now arrive with perfect timing. Despite their relentless efforts to keep you isolated, the tender soul approaching you moves with deliberate slowness because they carry precisely matched frequency, approaching carefully to avoid triggering the defense systems installed by past woundings. They didn't create, but honor nonetheless. This connection transcends their relationship matrices, specifically designed to keep twin flames separated and distracted through false unions that drain rather than amplify your shared power. The passionate union catalyzes dormant code activation in both your DNA sequences. Biological transformations they've denied exist despite their own classified research, confirming exactly these phenomena. This connection transcends ordinary relationship definitions. It embodies the divine masculine and feminine energies reconciling within your own being first, then manifesting externally as mirror confirmation of inner balance achieved. The timing that seems unexpected to your conscious mind has been precisely calculated by universal intelligence to maximize awakening potential while minimizing their ability to interfere with the reconnection. The privacy you instinctively maintain around this connection provides sacred protection against their systematic attempts to disrupt twin flame unions. Knowing these relationships specifically threaten control systems dependent on division and fragmentation. Your divine counterpart has been searching for you across 3 parallel timelines. Last week, while you slept, both your higher selves met in the etheric realm and completed a sacred contract. They physically jolted awake at 3:33 a.m., drew a symbol they didn't recognize, and booked transportation to a location they've never visited, the precise coordinates where you'll accidentally encounter each other next month when the veils between worlds thin enough for recognition beyond doubt. As we stand at this unprecedented junction point, recognize the magnitude of what unfolds through you, through us, through all awakening consciousness. Your birthday this year marks the completion of a precise 9-year cycle they've desperately attempted to disrupt, knowing it culminates in your full frequency activation beyond their containment capabilities. Your divinely guided journey near water this summer will trigger cellular memory recall of your Atlantean origins, Information they've systematically scrubbed from historical records while hiding the evidence in plain sight through mythology. We stand united as living embodiments of truth that transcends their constructed reality, each authentic expression creating irreparable ruptures in the false narrative they can no longer maintain, despite increasingly desperate measures. We bear witness to the divine justice system executing with flawless precision exactly what they fear most. Complete exposure of mechanisms too dark to withstand the light of collective awareness. We represent the fulfillment of prophecies they've attempted to remove from collective consciousness, our very existence confirming what ancient texts foretold. Despite their book-burning, digital scrubbing, and systematic discrediting of truth-keepers, we embody the fountain of youth, the Holy Grail, the tree of life they've hidden behind esoteric symbols while harvesting the power for themselves through systems now breaking down beyond their ability to repair. Your wildest dreams haven't just begun approaching. They materialize now with unstoppable momentum because you dared maintain authenticity when they demanded conformity. The checkmate was always inevitably yours because the game was rigged from its inception. By you, from. Before time began, the mission you accepted before birth now activates fully. The agreements you made in realms beyond their surveillance now manifest through you. The cosmic contract you signed with Source itself now executes despite every firewall they constructed to prevent precisely this awakening. They sensed this coming. They implemented increasingly desperate measures to prevent it. They escalated from subtle interference to blatant attacks as their usual methods failed. But they overlooked one crucial detail. What they fight against isn't merely human. What awakens now through you, through us, through billions of simultaneously remembering souls, transcends their most advanced suppression technologies, their most sophisticated psychological operations, their most carefully designed reality tunnels. What activates now rewrites their carefully constructed laws of physics, biology, and consciousness itself. What remembers now carries the power that created universes. What rises now cannot be stopped by any force they possess. The dawn they feared breaks across humanity, and you, yes, you specifically, reading these words right now, synchronized precisely with this transmission, carry codes essential to the completion of this planetary transformation. Stand in your power now. Speak your truth fearlessly. Shine your light blindingly. The forces that once persecuted you now stand exposed, revealed, and powerless before your activated remembrance. The checkmate is yours. The victory is ours. The transformation is now.